Okay, cool. We're good to go. Okay, cool. Hey, Katie. Okay, so I already mentioned this once, but I'll mention it again. If you're on camera, make sure that you're visible, that your computer screen is tilted the right way so that we can see your face. That would make it splendid. If you have like background noise going on, so if you have any kids or anything screaming in the background or dog barking, if you could just mute yourself. It should be pretty easy. If you highlight the bottom left corner of your screen, you'll see where you can mute your audio. Just make sure that if you talk or answer something for some reason that you unmute yourself. So they all know who I am, so I'm just going to introduce you. So okay. Amy is my, I guess you could say, personal coach. She's a John Maxwell certified leadership coach. Several of us, all of the diamonds on this team, as well as Kelly Kopus and Dawn Stevens, have been working with her in a private mastermind group on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. We're wrapping that up in the next week or so. And I know that Amy's been somebody that's been in my life. I don't know, it's sort of random. She's also a Beachbody coach. I think I met her at a Beachbody summit 3 years ago. I don't even, we like randomly ran into each other in line, and she lives in Carmel. She lives like 10 miles from my house. And I just figured out for some reason that she was put in my life for a reason, and I just needed to figure out what that reason was. And so here we are. She's my private coach, and she's got some great value to add to anybody that she comes in contact with. So I know that she's also a guitarist and sort of like, what are you, like the lead musician for Grace Church in Carmel?
I'm one of the worship leaders there, yeah.
Yeah, so she's very multi-talented. So I'm going to let her run away with this webinar, and I think the hope is that you guys can take some notes. She's going to cover what exactly we're going to be doing in the upcoming mastermind group for our team, and then I can chime in with her and let you guys know what the dates are for that and that kind of thing too. So if you have any questions, hold on to them until the end. We're just going to let her kind of present to us what we're going to be doing, and we'll take questions at the very end. So
awesome.
Good to go.
Good to go. Awesome. Great to see all these beautiful faces. This is a major Brady Bunch gathering in all these windows. Yeah, it's awesome I have absolutely loved getting to work with Jenny and her team of Diamond leaders. I count it a privilege to get to meet with them weekly and to hear what they're processing and learning through the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and not only how they're applying it to their business, but to their life, because the two are inseparable. I mean, they intersect. There's no way that you can grow and learn as a leader and not have an impact on all areas of your life. So I want to just give you we don't have a long time on this call, so I want to be as thorough and as brief as possible, but to give you a picture of what this mastermind group will be. We will be utilizing the 15 invaluable laws of growth, which is another one of John Maxwell's incredible books on personal development. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with John Maxwell, I just want to give you a little bit of a picture of who he is. He's written over 70 books on different topics, not only leadership, but that's his main thrust. He's a phenomenal leader. And in fact, last year in 2014, Inc. magazine and American Managers Association ranked him the top leader in the world. And you would think someone like that could have a big head, but he really doesn't. He is such a kind, sincerely warm man who is a phenomenal man and a phenomenal leader. I had the privilege of learning directly from him back in February when I got certified as a John Maxwell coach, trainer, and speaker. And, he just shares from his heart. And this book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Leadership, is his compilation of over 40 years of personal development. And to be able to learn from someone who is as wise and, the kind of leader he is, that is an incredible privilege that we get to, in a small book, in reality, to all that he knows and has learned, that we can learn from him is a great privilege. Now, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth is a way to learn some core principles on how to reach your full potential as a person and as a leader. And one of the things, it starts off first chapter is the law of intentionality, which is key because it talks about growth does not just happen. I think sometimes we can think, if we work hard at our business, at our job, at home, wherever it is, that we're going to grow automatically. And that is just not the case. It takes real intentionality in order to grow. And that Beachbody talks about, personal development is one of the 3 vital behaviors because it is so key for you to grow. Now, no doubt you're in Beachbody because not only do you love what Beachbody's done for you with health and fitness, but you want to help people. You want to serve them, right? And the best way you can do that is to grow yourself. Because in reality, too, you can't give what you don't have. And as you continue to grow as a person and as a leader, you can give that much more to those you're serving. One of the things we talked about in our the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is a leadership compass. And it talks about how the highest form of leadership and the hardest form of leadership is self-leadership. Okay? And that's why it is important for us to be investing in ourselves. In fact, they go so far as saying taking 80% of your investment and pouring it into yourself. And that's really countercultural to those of us who want to put ourselves on the back burner. I think especially moms have a tendency to say, they put themselves last. But in reality, you can serve your family and those that you love and those that you're wanting to serve on your team and your challengers, your customers, that much greater. Your impact can go much farther as you grow yourself. Okay? Now, doing this in a mastermind format can really take your learning to another level because you're in a group with like-minded people who have a similar vision and passion to grow and to learn. And you share ideas, you share struggles and victories. You become connected to new people and maybe even more deeply with those you already are. And another key part of the mastermind group is accountability. To apply what you're learning. Because I don't know if you're guilty of this, I've done this plenty of times in the past where I read a great book and I just put it right back on the shelf and it doesn't impact me. And I'll think, what did that book say? And we want this to be something where it is going to have not only impact your mind by growing your mind, but it's going to impact your life because you're taking what you're learning and applying it. That's the key to really growing your potential and to reach your potential, your full potential as a leader. That's something that even I ask each week. They'll tell you. I start the call each week with what's one thing you've learned this week, and how are you applying that or applying something else you've learned. And something, especially if the group is going to be bigger, I'm going to be, we'll be buddying up with someone else in the group to, during the week between each call, you'll be connecting just to check in. How's your learning going? How are you applying what you're learning in this whole leadership? Well, Nick, because you think personal growth, this whole 15 laws of invaluable laws of growth is definitely personal growth, but it's going to impact your leadership in significant ways, trust me. So, I love getting to help come alongside people. I love helping to facilitate, not only discussion, but just your growth and adding value to you. So that's my heart and my goal for you is to just be a resource and a help to you so that you can not only grow as a person, but as a business owner and fellow Beachbody coach. But I'm just excited to have this opportunity and hope something that you'll join. So that's my spiel real quick. So I don't know, Jenny, if you have anything else or if I missed anything.
Sure. Well, I did want to say, I think most of my team members know this, but I know we have a couple of newer coaches on here. So I try to say it in almost every business opportunity webinar that I lead. And that is that hands down, the number one benefit, or I guess advantage that this company has given me, or the biggest, I don't know what you call it, like blessing. Like some people, you know, talk about how they're blessed financially with the business. Some people talk about how their health was totally changed and that's what their major blessing is. For me, my number one blessing with this business has been my personal growth. And I, you know, in the beginning, I was like, you will never find me in the self-help section of the bookstore. Like I was an English major in college. I liked reading, you know, fiction and nonfiction, novels, even poetry, stuff like that. I was never going to read some book called Goals by Brian Tracy, or Eat That Frog, or the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, or any of the stuff that I've read, or any of the stuff that takes up space on my bookshelf. And when I've said this to you guys before, about a year or so ago, I was feeling really stuck. Like I was feeling like, I felt like I was doing all the activities that I needed to do to be a multi-star diamond coach, but I didn't know. I was like, why am I not going anywhere? It's like I'm treading water. And it was interesting because I was reading the personal development that applied to my strengths. Like I was reading the personal development that applied to what I was already good at doing. And what I wasn't doing was reading about leadership and reading about how to lead other people on my journey. And when I took that leap of faith and decided, okay, you know, I'm really not comfortable learning more about leadership, but yet I also don't want to be where I'm at. You know, I had to kind of get out of my comfort zone with my personal development. So I think Amy could tell you that I've been doing a local group, a local mastermind, in addition to the Diamond Mastermind that we have. And it really surprised me to walk in on the very first day to this local group where there were, like 6 of us? Is that right, Amy? 6 or 7? Yeah. And to walk into there and be the only person that really listened to podcasts, and the only person that could really call themselves like a personal development junkie, you know, and I was probably the youngest in the group by at least 15 years, I'm guessing. So it was a cool feeling because I felt like it was something that I had made the decision to invest my time in and my effort in. And I feel like that effort is paying off in the relationships that I have with each of you. So I feel like this team is growing and this team is thriving and is successful because of the personal development time and effort that I put into my own growth. You know, we just talked last week on the Diamond Mastermind about how people buy into the leader first. And I feel like that's what happened when I decided to kind of take my personal growth to the next level. So I know for me, it's been a game changer, not just to listen to something while I walk or read the book before I go to sleep, but to actually have Amy and to have a facilitated conversation where I feel like I can really reflect on what I'm absorbing. So it's been a game changer for me. So what I wanted to do was have each of my diamonds that are on here just give like 2 minutes or less, preferably, of like their major takeaway from the mastermind that we're currently doing, or the one thing that they've enjoyed most about the mastermind. I don't think they'll mind to say anything. Tara's giving me a funny look, but if you could just give me like 1 to 2 minutes of what you have liked most about it, that'd be fantastic.
I was just laughing because of the 2 minute.
Yeah.
9 seconds over.
Just like to keep it short and sweet.
Just like Amy and Jenny were just saying, when I have read books before and I just put them back on the shelf, and I don't read books often because as a teacher, like reading's the last thing I want to do. But these books actually, I want to read, and knowing that I have the group's support and that we get together and talk about the book, and I mean, you're really applying these things to your life, and they have totally helped me, not just with my Beachbody business, but in a lot of relationships at my other job and just with people I see randomly in public. You learn a lot about yourself that you've always had inside, but have never been comfortable pushing out.
I like it. That was 1 minute and 32 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
Way to go, Tara.
What about you, Katie?
First of all, let me advertise Platinum Edge. Wearing the shirt.
I like the tank. You know it's moved this year. It's on the East Coast, not Dallas.
East Coast. Yep. So everyone should go to the Platinum Edge. I really liked knowing that Amy was going to ask, what was your takeaway and how did you apply it this week? Because I started writing in the book, like notes, like, okay, I'm going to, like, because I hate to not be a star student. So I would hate to, like, be caught and be like, oh, crap, I didn't apply something or I didn't. So knowing that I was going to be held accountable was really helpful. And it helped me to pay more attention when I read, because sometimes when I read a book, I kind of like will get to the end of the chapter and somehow I read it. It's like when you drive and then you're like, how did I get where I am? Maybe you guys don't do that, and maybe I shouldn't.
No, I do that.
Okay. But I do that when I'm reading sometimes too. It's like my brain can be somewhere else and reading at the same time. So it helped me to like really laser focus in and like take notes in the book while I'm reading. And then I also liked when I felt really frustrated with myself about like feeling negative about myself on some of the like some of the leadership skills that I lack, and I was frustrated, and then hearing other people say that they had the same frustration helped me feel better. And then we like could talk about, well, how can we improve that? And so it felt more hopeful instead of just reading this book and being like, oh, I'm the only one who has this problem, and I'm the only one, and I'm never going to solve it. So it's like, okay, there's other people that have the same issue, and now let's move forward. So
yeah, I would also chime into that and say that it has been pretty cool to kind of learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, which has been really cool too, because we are a team, and in my opinion, we act the most like a team that over any other team in the company. And so I feel like it's cool, because then we know what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and we can balance those out and offer a well-rounded package. Mm-hmm. So what about you, Abby? Can you hear me okay? You're gonna have to unmute yourself first.
Yeah, you might hear some TV.
Unless you just want to size for us.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I think a lot, I'm going to piggyback off Tara and Katie, but I'll try to say something new too. I agree with both of them. I think the biggest, in you too, Jenny, that I didn't expect to be so interested and find the personal development things so interesting. And the Mastermind group was totally new concept for me. And I expected kind of the book to be boring, and I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this, but it couldn't have been more the opposite of that. The book is really enjoyable. I know it'll be a different one for this group, but just things I never thought about as far as leadership and having the actual action tools there in the book to implement or to take self-assessment. I think that's one of the most important parts that I've learned is the self-assessment with the chapters. And so that's been the most helpful for me, I think.
Perfect. I know Kelly is on this call, but her audio isn't working, so I won't, obviously, I'm not going to have her text it all out to us in the chat. So, Dawn, what about you? I know you're in our leadership mastermind. What's it done for you?
I thought you said diamonds had to share. I'm not there yet.
I said everybody that's in the mastermind. You're in it, girl. So is Kelly.
Okay, so I think that the thing for me that has been the most beneficial is one, the accountability of every week checking in, and I need to be doing my reading, and I enjoy the processing, because a lot of times I will read a book and I'll go, oh yeah, and I'll highlight and I'll be like, oh, that was good. But then going back and processing it again later, I think helps for me to just absorb it more. So that has been huge. And like I said, the accountability, because I feel like I'm always in 50 million directions. And so as long as I have, okay, Sunday nights, I have that Zoom call and I need to have my homework done. By the way, I am all caught up. So I am ready to rock next Sunday.
Cool. Yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of it with all these guys, because I've been able to see Amy, I haven't even told you this, but I've been able to see their intentional effort toward their action items. So I just told Katie today, I thought she did something really great today, in emotionally connecting with one of her coaches. And that's something that we've talked about on our Zoom calls. And it's just really cool to see each of them pick up on the things that we're learning in the group. And so I know that right now they're talking about, these takeaways have been mostly what they're getting out of the call, but I've seen them actually apply what they're doing in the call to their life, which is even cooler. So, but it's funny because Chris was running late tonight. And so I was like, oh, I've got an extra 20 minutes before he gets home. I'll listen to another podcast. So I listened to a podcast. It was a Shalene Show podcast, and it was all about the I don't know what it was called. Something about, she called it's like a podcast mastermind, but basically the same idea of a mastermind surrounding personal development. And so it was kind of cool, because I've always been somebody that I like to follow what successful people are doing. If successful people are working out in the morning, then I should probably consider working out in the morning. If successful people are drinking a lot of water during the day, I'll do that. If successful people are listening to personal development, I'll do that. And so it's cool because I heard her say that. And then in 2 different other instances today, masterminding was brought up to me. I had a call with an 11-star diamond coach that I kind of look to as a mentor in the business. And she was telling me about how these mastermind groups have been so successful for the people on her team too. So it just is a recurring topic. And so I feel like I'm not just starting to learn, but I have learned why you came into my life, because the value that you're adding to my team is exactly why. So the details of this mastermind are as follows. And Amy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like we've got, what do we have? Like 16 people on here. So 15, not including Amy. I know that Shauna is at the ballpark. She's stuck at the ballpark. So that'll be around 16 people. If all of us participate in this, we're looking at about $99. So it'll be $99 per person. That'll cover you for 6 weeks. And then the book as well. So the way it'll work for my coaches, if you're my personally sponsored coach, Abby and Angie, I know you're technically Chris's coaches, but you're my coaches. If you're my coach, then if you rank advance from your current rank to the next rank, I will pay for your mastermind. If you do not advance rank, I will still pay for your book, just not the mastermind cost. So that's the deal that I'm offering. I know Katie's offering a similar deal. So that's just the details for you. The first day that we're meeting is going to be on Sunday, June 28th at 8:30 p.m. All of our meetings will be probably right around an hour, maybe a little bit over that. But our first one is the 28th of June at 8:30 p.m. We're looking at around an hour each week. And then the week of Summit, we will break from that because all of us, including Amy, will be at Summit. So does that sound right to you, Amy?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Woohoo!
Cool. Well, I'm excited about it. Now, we haven't gotten our warning yet, but I think we have about 10 minutes left before we get kicked off of Zoom. So does anybody have any questions that you want to ask, whether it's to Amy or details about the group or anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
Amy, what would you say is the biggest difference between this book and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership?
That's a good question. I mean, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership are specifically geared, obviously, towards leadership. Whereas the 15 invaluable laws of growth it talks more about, we talk about the law of intentionality and design and environment. It's more, it's not necessarily directed just toward leaders, even though, we're all leading in some capacity. I think those leaders who are really wanting to grow in their leadership are going to pick up that 21 irrefutable laws. Like I told you, it's only maybe a top 1% who will pick that up. Whereas this growth book is going to hit different areas more holistically as far as, there's our warning.
All right. We got 10 minutes.
Intentionality. Here, let me just, I don't remember all the names of the, because this talks about the full potential for you as a person and not just as a leader. So we talk about,
Hey, Eliza.
we've got our youngest member of the mastermind. Bringing about just a different type of awareness. Like, what are some of your barriers to growth? So awareness, it's kind of taking a look too more internally, like where are you finding your self-worth? Kind of that, they talk about that in the law of the mirror. Talks about your environment. How do you deal with pain? How do you grow from pain? So it's coming at it from a little bit more personal side versus leadership. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And Amy, you and I had a conversation about this. I don't know when it was, like maybe 6 or 8 months ago. This book was the gift for Success Club from Beachbody. So when you earned Success Club, Beachbody sent you a copy of this book. And so I was telling Amy that, and she said she wasn't surprised because I don't know, you guys probably know the name Tracy Morrow. She's a founding coach with Team Beachbody. She's in John Maxwell's inner circle, which is pretty cool. He has an inner circle of like 15 people.
Yeah, it's not very big.
He's in that inner circle, helping him get fit. And so
the X girl?
Tracy, yes, the short with the blonde bob. Yeah, she's a founding coach, and she's in his inner circle. And Amy figures there was probably some sort of connection there with her too. So
no doubt.
Obviously, the company stands behind this book as one of the top personal growth books out there for us to be reading. So
well, and John Maxwell spoke. That was actually the summit that we met out in Las Vegas 3 years ago. John Maxwell spoke, and he spoke on the 15 laws of growth at Summit. And that's what, I mean, I went out and got the book right away. Talks about just some really amazing, about your skills and talents versus your giftings. And it was kind of one of those things where it's not necessarily rocket science, but he touches on some things that I think is maybe just lying under the surface. Because that's one of the things, I think I can't remember which one of you said, talked about just a greater awareness through the 21 laws. And that's one of the keys of what I think these books bring out is, as leaders, we need to be, have a greater awareness of how we're coming across. And also a greater awareness for where our strengths are and where our areas of growth are needed. Because if we aren't aware of them, then we're just going to continue on, in the status quo we're in. And so sometimes, like the one, the law of the mirror that we'll be talking about, sometimes it's hard to look in that mirror and see the things that aren't as, pretty to see. But unless we face them, we don't know that we need to grow. And it may be an area of, I don't know, just greater freedom, and to know that you're not alone, that we're here to help you grow in those places, and encourage each other, because we all have our stuff. We all have places we need to grow. And this is an incredible environment to do it in.
awesome. Good deal. One thing that I failed to mention with the details is when you need to be Emerald. So everybody that's going to participate in this mastermind has to be an Emerald coach or above. And that Emerald date is June 17th. So, we always get recognized on Thursdays for rank advancements within the company. So the date for qualification to be, Emerald or higher, I'm looking at my calendar right now. Yeah, exactly 2 weeks from this Thursday. So anybody who might be listening to this recording or who's not yet Emerald, that's the requirement, is to be an Emerald coach no later than that date. I forgot to mention that before. So cool, we're good to go. Well, Amy, I will have an official list put together in the next few days of the folks that are interested in participating for sure. And then we will plan on seeing you on the 28th. I'll get the Zoom stuff organized. And once we know who's going to be doing it, I will create a separate group on Facebook for this mastermind so that we can all have a Facebook page as well.
That sounds great.
Perfect.
When do you need the payment by?
Yeah, Amy, when would you like? Well, would you like for me to send? How do you want to handle that?
Well, when you create the Facebook group, I can post a form there,
Okay.
and you can fill that out. So let's see, it starts the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So when's the deadline for their ranking and all that?
2 weeks from this Wednesday.
17th.
Yeah, 17th.
Okay. I guess let's say payment by the Friday before. I don't. Was that at the
26th.
the 26th?
Yep.
Yeah. So by the 26th,
Perfect.
I'll have a form. Yeah, and I'll get, whenever you create that group, I'll have the form, and I'll post that. So I mean, you can pay before the 26th, but that's the deadline.
Okay, great. Sounds good. I think it's well spent. All right. Well, thank you, Amy, for your time. If anybody has any questions, we're running out of time. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to send me a private message, and I'm happy to answer that for you. Otherwise, I will be posting in the team page very soon, asking for official sign up. So be prepared for that to be coming, and we'll get this rocking and rolling.
Awesome.
Cool. Have a good night,
Thanks.
everybody.
All right. Good night.
Night.